All right, so this evening, I did tell you that we're going to be reflecting on an insurance policy that we've touched base with for quite a long time. It's called Personal Asset Insurance Plan. Yes, so what does it mean? And how can you tap into this? Those of you that make use of gadgets, you make use of your laptops, and somehow, while you are while you are in transit, you find out that it gets missing, or perhaps there are certain things that requires one or two things that you need. So that is why this kind of plan is really needed, and we're going to be exploring ways to safeguard your properties and businesses from unforeseen risks, from fire, burglary to accidents, and so much more. So we'll try and touch base with all of them, and then we'll try and see how you can understand how it all works, so that you can properly and practically secure and protect your personal businesses and assets. All right, joining me on the microphone this evening, I have Omotoyosi Tosho Gbangba. She's of ICO Insurance PLC, and she's right here with me. Omotoyosi, nice to have you back in the studios. Good evening.
Mr. Victor.
How are you doing?
Good evening. I'm very well, thank you.
It's been quite a while, though.
But I'm back.
I think that was earlier in the year, right?
Yes,
sometime around March or
February.
Okay. All right, but it's nice to have you back in the studios.
Thank you for having me.
So, what can our listeners do to protect their properties from, if you look at it from the insurance perspective, what do you think they can do at this time to protect their properties?
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Victor, and it's good to be back here. When we talk about properties, let me first break it down, right? You talk about properties, we all know that these are things that have economic value to you,
right?
And things that if a loss occurs to it, right, it's actually going to affect you. Either you're going to have a financial loss,
that's true,
or what we call breaking transmission, probably is going to stall your business, or any of this risk, right? So when you're saying that, what can our listeners do, right, to protect their properties,
right,
from an insurance perspective? Okay, I would advise that anybody out there, for the protection of your assets and properties, you should think of purchasing at least one, or what we call a combo, right?
Of something you're going to mention now, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Of what we call our personal asset insurance. Okay. And when we talk about personal asset insurance, we're talking about the fire and special peril insurance, which is what covers risk of fire, as the name implies. And in insurance, we say that fire is anything that is on fire that ought not to be on fire. Right?
You guys have come with your coinages.
Yes.
All
yes.
Right.
So
say it again. Anything
fire is anything that is on fire that ought not to be on fire.
You mean it?
Oh yes.
Wow.
So my house is not meant to be on fire, but it's on fire. What do I do? Right? That's where fire and special peril steps in.
Okay.
We have burglary insurance. This covers the risk of thieves breaking into your home or offices. We have the whole risk insurance, which is the cover of accidental damage.
Right.
Then we also have home insurance, which protects your content as a householder, also known as tenant.
Are thieves still around in the country these days? I thought thieves they've grown poor.
Mr. Victor, in insurance we don't say God forbid,
okay,
right?
All right.
But God forbid.
That's right. So these are the kind of risks that people can protect themselves. I mean, these are things that the risks that one can protect oneself against. But I needed to explain the covers that are provided by all these policies that you've mentioned.
Okay, like I explained earlier on, I said fire and special peril covers the risk of fire.
Okay.
And when we talk about special perils, we are talking about insurance can be so wide and so funny when you listen to all these risks that are covered. When we talk about special perils, we are talking about flood, tornado, tempest, and Hurricane Sandy, Hurricane Catherine, and all.
So you mean all those ones are covered?
They are, but the luck we have in this part of the world is that we don't experience such things, right?
Yeah, but we experience rains.
We experience rains, and that is where flood comes in.
And even today, we're talking about thunderstorms too. So
yes, it is covered under special risk, where you have the storm, the thunderstorm, the what's it called? Overflowing of water tank. It's so funny. You might actually be pumping water in your home, and one thing or the other, probably your floating switch stops working,
right?
And you're pumping, and the water keeps flowing, and you get your home flooded.
Or perhaps it floods the neighbors' flats as well.
Yes.
So all
if
that,
they
all
have that cover, it's covered. Yes.
Ooh, and lots of people do not know about this.
We are trying.
Wow. Wow. All right. So we've entered the rainy season right now to Oteri. So does any of these insurance policies protect us from, those risks that you mentioned? I know you talked about flood now, but any other thing?
Okay, like I said, that special peril is what caters for this kind of...
For floods now.
Yes. So when we talk about the special peril section of your fire policy section, right, it will take care of the flood risk, and it also provide an extensive cover for storm, for burst pipes. Like I said earlier on, you're pumping, or probably your bathroom or something, there is a burst pipe, right? It causes damage, it causes overflowing of water. Then we have impact damage, we have bushfire. Somebody is burning the bush by the next compound, right? It could extend, right? That's what special peril takes care of. We have explosion, we have tornado, we have riot and strike. We call it strike, riot, civil commotion, SRCC.
Wow.
Yes.
So all these are covered?
Yes, they are.
Wow. Okay. So lots for us to learn this evening. But how can people protect themselves against burglary losses? Let's talk about that.
Okay, like you said earlier on that, do we still have thieves around? We still have them, right? And when they are coming, it's not that they are coming with keys, right? They will come, anything they see, they damage to have access. It could be your quote and unquote burglary proof. Okay. Right? And as the name implies, burglar. Okay. There is a burglary insurance. Oh, wow. Right? For it. That's what caters for losses, under this burglary insurance. So there should be, there will always be a forcible evidence, right, of breaking in or out of your building. Yes. Right. So it takes care of that.
Okay. All right. That's straightforward. But I needed to share instances where we have, some kind of combinations. I know there are some combinations that we have, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you just share some of those instances?
Okay. For such instances, right, you have the combination of fire and special peril and burglary. Right, the two work hand in hand, and we usually advise that everyone taking this policy, it could be for your home, it could be for your office. You need both combination. You are protecting from fire, and you're also protecting from burglary. Anything could affect your asset.
So a lot of times, it's called fire and burglary insurance.
Yes, a lot of time it's called fire and burglary. But someone will say, "Oh, I'm not bothered about the content. I am the owner of the container." So what exactly can happen to your container that can actually probably happen as a total loss? Right. It could be fire. So if you are the owner of the container and not the content, you can actually opt only for fire insurance, right? But if you are the owner of container and content, it's always advisable that you merge the combo.
So there is a way you can opt for one, and leave out the other,
depending on the circumstances.
So is it possible for me to just say I just want burglary insurance without fire?
Yes, it is, because we call it householder. Oh, okay. Not house owner. Householder means I'm just holding this thing. I'm not the owner of the container, I'm the owner of the content. In such cases, you can even opt for a cheaper package, which we call home insurance, right? It also gives you a leverage due to financial losses when there is fire, when there is burglary, you understand? But there is a limit to that. Very much unlike the fire and special peril policy itself. Okay, now let's touch down on the one that would really be of concern to most Nigerians. A lot of times when we move from one location to the other, we carry our gadgets, right? So what kind, and I'm just looking at, if I have properties or personal assets which I move around and would like to have a comprehensive cover on them, what kind of insurance will I pick for that one? I'm talking about things like laptops, like phones, and the likes. Okay, thank you, Mr. Victor. For such movable gadgets, we advise that our people take what we call an all-risk cover. All risk? Yes, it's called all. All risk. So as the name implies, right, it gives you, I would like an extension of cover beyond the normal purview of fire and burglary. Yes, because the normal loss of this subject matter to your gadgets, right, is not only limited to fire theft. You could actually be taking your laptop, it falls, it breaks, and all these things. These are part of the things that all risk gives you an extension cover on while you are moving your property from one place to another.
So more or less like they are additions, right?
Yes.
They're add-ons.
They're like add-ons.
Apart from the fire, apart from the burglary,
yes,
you're saying
can
now
actually take an extension of all risk on this. You can even have how will I put it now? You can have a fire and burglary cover for your home. But when let's say for example, let me quickly digress a bit. When we ask for inventory of what is in your home, right? Like your freezer, your fridge, those ones, you're not going to work with your fridge.
Definitely
right?
not.
But you go to work with your laptop, you go to work with your phones, anything can happen.
Right.
So we usually advise, right? Our team of underwriters usually advise that, let's separate this from your inventory list. The things that are in movable. One place, you can limit them to fire and burglary.
Okay.
But you see these ones, take an extension cover on it. So it's not that the premium is now going to be on all of this your inventory. Right. It's just going to be on this specific thing that you just mentioned.
So it appears this all risk is very, very rich then. I mean, why not just let me go for the all risk rather for me just to limit myself to just fire and burglary? What do you think?
Mr. Victor, Naija sense. So the truth is that it is something we can consider, but naturally, an all risk is meant to be like an add-on on fire. So there cannot be a child without a parent.
Definitely.
So let me just leave it like that.
Let's just quickly talk about traders now. Small business owners, shop owners. What insurance policies do you think they would need to guarantee protection for their property?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Victor. For traders, right, we have specialized policies which will be of benefit to them and their businesses. Okay. Right? As traders, they are constantly exposed to risk which could cause major setbacks in their businesses. Like I said earlier, there could be a break in transmission, in their business. So while we are praying and saying, God forbid, right, we should also have the insurance in place. Right, and so for traders, we have a specific plan that is called shop insurance. Now, note that shop insurance is not as holistic, if I'm permitted to use that word, like fire insurance, right? Okay. Fire insurance does not have a limit. Fire insurance works with the value that you provide. Okay. So you are compensated and restored back to the position you were at the amount you declare at the beginning of your policy. All right. Very much unlike shop insurance that says, I want to take 1 unit of shop insurance. I'm using just 1 unit. I want just 2 units. Okay. Right. So there are limits to the amount of benefits on shop insurance. But for somebody who I have just the minister of my self provision in front of my house, and they can actually go for that and it mitigates that. All right, then
just going to take a break right now. Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. I'm learning a lot this evening, and I'm sure you must be same way too. We're talking of how best you can insure your personal assets, and there are so many insurance products that you can really take to be part of this. We're going to take a short break. When we return, we'll talk about the benefits that ICO insurance, shop insurance, of course, just talk a bit about that as well. And then we also look at things like or perhaps look at those artisans. What kind of insurance policies would they need to guarantee protection for what they do? All right, we'll also touch base with that, and then we'll also hear from you too, and that will be on 091-5387-7127. A brief break, we'll be back.
Honestly, I am fed up of my street.
Hey, what's wrong now?
I think my street is jinxed. Over the weekend, my apartment was boggled and the criminals made away with valuables. They even took my son's toy treasure box.
Stable and reliable.
And just this morning, there was a huge fire incident in my neighbor's house and he lost everything. I mean everything.
Wow. Anyway, like I said before, stable and reliable.
What are you saying? Are you mocking me?
Abba, of course not. I just said
portable, blah blah blah. I can rhyme too. It doesn't help my situation.
Okay, you remember I had similar experience last year, but thankfully, I had signed up to a fire and burglary insurance plan with a stable and reliable partner, ICO Insurance.
Oh, now I get it now. Yeah. But why didn't you tell me all this while now?
When the unexpected happens to your home appliances, ICO provides the insurance cover that makes you worry-less. Get the ICO Fire and Burglary Insurance Plan today. Call us on 0700 iContact. That is 0700 2442 668228 or visit www.icoplc.com to learn more. ICO Insurance, your stable friend, yesterday, today, and always.
Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. Insurance on the Move is the program, and I still have with me in the studios this evening Omotoyosi Tusho Bangba of ICO Insurance. Let's get you through the Agege corridor. It's a busy movement this evening from Fumek inwards Acme, busy one, so to say, and it stays like that down to Metal Box. This is due to evening rush, and of course the return journey travel, so to say. Oba Akran from Dangote U-turn inwards Mobile Ashadi, connecting areas like Akilo, is moving at a fast pace as we speak right now. Ijai Road, in and out. Udueron connecting Oba Ogunji is busy too due to alternation, and of course the return journey is at its peak too. Guinness inwards Akoni Doety is moving at a fast pace, and you need to see that we have some minor delays at Monguru Ashade due to traffic light alternation, but no major worries. Capitol inwards Oniwaya Junction down to Afanla is appreciably good. All right then, so we can hear from you too. 08099120777 and 09153877127. Okay, those are the numbers that you can call if you want to be part of the program. All right, let's talk about artisans now. Toyosi, for artisans, what kind of insurance policies will they need to guarantee protection for them?
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Victor. Okay, so certainly for artisans, we know that they are exposed to risk and liabilities as they perform their duties, right?
Okay.
So for that, we also, how will I put it now, crave their indulgence, right? That we should not just leave everything to God.
Okay.
Right? God is not a magician. You need to also get yourself protected. You are a tailor, electrician, plumbers, carpenters, and what have you, right? No one is left out. So for artisans, we actually advise that they take an ICO personal accident cover.
Okay.
Which actually protects you while moving from point A to point B. And you know that moving from one point to another can also affect one's ability to keep doing business.
That's very true.
God forbid.
All right. So personal accident insurance?
Yes, sir.
All right. I need you to explain more on that. Really?
Okay. Means we are going to divert a little bit. Okay. So personal accidents is just a cover that provides medical expenses and compensations.
All right.
In case of accident resulting in injury or death.
Okay. All right. Let's see if we can take some reactions. Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM 08099120777 and 09153877127. These are the numbers that you can call. This one says, good evening. Is there a difference between personal asset insurance and regular property insurance? Tolani is sending that one in. Do you have a call? Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Okay. Hi, Tolani. Good evening. There are no difference, right?
There's no difference.
There's no difference.
It's virtually
Property and assets is the same thing. It could either be you are using it for your business or you are using it for your personal use.
All right. So, Tolani, I hope you got that. This one says, good evening, Victor. The traffic on Lekki Expressway in and out is busy. Shukbo. Okay, Shukbo. Thank you. This one says, Mrs. Toyosi, do you have to own the assets outright to insure it, or can leased or financed items be covered too? Thanks. This is Rosemary sending this one in from Solere. So,
Rosemary, talk to me. This is business, right? Whether it's financed or on lease, it has an economic value to you.
Okay.
You should put an insurance on it, right? Because you are the one using that property, either owned or leased, like she said. If anything happened, it's going to stall whatever it is you're using it for, or probably even put an end to it.
All right.
So you don't wait until they ask you that, at least you get something, you get insurance.
Okay. All right. I know you've talked about the personal accident insurance, right?
Yes, sir.
And I'm just trying to see, how can you relate it to small businesses, to individuals and all of that?
Okay. This is, how will I put it now? More like an emotional question that you just asked.
You mean it?
Yes. We have a whole lot of business owners, right, out there that even as much as we say people don't buy insurance, they don't think twice before insuring their physical assets, right? Like their properties, motor, and all whatnot, right? But they usually, let me use that word, permit me to use that word, neglect to take out insurance on their most important asset of all.
Which is very true.
Which is themselves and their employees. Right? You might say, oh, you have a fire insurance, you have this, you have that. What are the people that are helping you run your day-to-day business?
Right.
As little as 1,005 insurance on them, it's not going to, it's not going to tear your pocket. Let me use that word. Right? So business owners must understand that people, that is they themselves and their employees, are the most important asset to that organization. Right, so, and you therefore have to protect them against any unfortunate incident or event. They might not die, right? Because they say insurance is always talking about death. But have we ever thought about permanent disability to anybody? Which is true. Which can actually be the end of the person being useful. Right. I know that they say that no one is irreplaceable. How do they speak that English? But before you find someone who will fit into the shoe that person has, how will I pronounce? I found itself. Yes. You know, it takes a while for someone to adjust into a new environment. But you've lost someone. Probably because of one. Which is true. There's a message here. It says, good evening. Can you insure multiple assets under one policy, or do they each need separate coverages? You didn't put your name, but thank you. So is it possible? Okay, let me pick it from this angle. I am Toyosi, right? I have assets in Surulere. I have in Aja. I have in... You will definitely take different the same products, right? The same policy, but each asset will have its own cover. So that's the standard. Because definitely the value will be different, and the inventory, that's the property in it, will also be different, and the use will also be different too. All right. This one says, good evening, Lagos Traffic Radio. Is there a waiting period before coverage kicks in? About signing up? I don't understand that. So is there a waiting period before coverage kicks in after signing up? Okay. And how are the premiums calculated? B from Ogba. Okay, regular B. B, thank you so much. So, is there a waiting period? No. There's none? There is none, because fire will not give you a notice that I'm going to happen today. That's true. Right? So, once you have your policy issued, you have your policy document, because what we usually do is, before we onboard a customer, right, we do what we call a pre-loss survey to that site. We have our team of professionals who goes to that particular site, check all the things you have actually declared, and confirmed your principle of utmost good faith. All right, then. Right, so let's begin to wrap this all up now. So you've mentioned so many insurance products that people can really pick up to protect their assets. How can they get in touch or get in contact with ICO for any of these policies you've mentioned? Okay, thank you very much, our dear listeners. For you to be able to reach us, we have our offices nationwide. We have in Abuja, Lagos, Port Harcourt. Just check online. You can also reach us at sales support at icoplc.com. Okay. Sales with an S. Right. Then support with his own S. Right. So it's going to be sales support at icoplc.com. Then you can also reach us at iContact at icoplc.com. iContact spelled as AII. Contact. All right. iContact at icoplc.com. We'll leave it at that for now. Toyosi, nice having you back in the building. Thank you so much for being here. And I think I've learned a lot this evening, especially for my laptop. I hope I can go insure it right away. Bring it with the file. And this machine too, right? Bring it, everything. Mr. Victor, we will. Okay, then. We have to go. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for having me. All right, the program this evening has been produced by Akan Hussein. Maximum shout out going out to Definite Media Concept for putting all of this together. Next Thursday, 6:30, the program makes a return. But till then, I am Victor Oteri. Have a splendid evening. Bye.